So what's next?
Trust and transparency. I think that's something that you should take into consideration as well.
Okay.
Another common struggle in relationships is when people tend to have issues with trust. Trust essentially is healthy and lasting relationships. It can lead to jealousy, insecurity, and conflict. To build trust in your relationship, you want to be honest, right? And avoid and
Hmm.
keep the secrets. If you do keep secrets, I'm not sure why you would keep secrets. So a lot of people tend to say they, they don't necessarily share everything because they may not want to hurt someone's feelings. But again, it may be all in the delivery, not necessarily in the message that you're trying to relate to that person. So, if you feel that you don't want to share because you think you might hurt their feelings, then maybe
Yeah.
find a better way of, disseminating that information to that individual so that way it can help you out.
All right. Good advice. Good advice. You got to also learn to trust someone. What is trust to you? How do you gain trust in someone? And what are some good qualities about trust and about people who who are trustworthy? That's a lot of questions in one.
It is. Trust is basically you want to be reliable, consistent in your actions, and able to build that trust. You got to show those patterns. Like everything that we deal with is patterns. So be reliable, be consistent, and follow through. If you're talking to someone and you're building that trust, if they're listening to you and you tell them that you may do something or you're looking intending on doing something, make sure you follow up with that. All right? That builds that trust. If you're talking to someone and you tend to tell them things and you don't follow up or don't follow through, that may be more or less a trust issue. They may not be inclined to listen to what you have to say, or they may not believe you, and that may lead to them cutting you off and not necessarily having faith in what you're saying when you're relaying that information. So trust is definitely important.
And you mentioned the word transparency. So that's like being open, being honest, right? So similar to trust in a sense, but what is the importance of transparency in any relationship?
Well, the importance of transparency is you got to be able to show them where you're coming from. You want to make sure that you're not hiding anything. Again, you're putting all your cards on the table. So that way that they can understand where you're coming from, have a better sense of direction and understanding of what you're saying. In full transparency, hey, look, I more or less don't like what you're doing and how you're going about doing it. As a close friend or companion, let me tell you why I don't like necessarily what you're doing, and let me help empower you or give you some reasons to better understand where I'm coming from and how it may or may not help you in said situation. So again, being transparent as versus just keeping a secret, necessarily not telling people the truth. Those are things what you want to kind of avoid, not necessarily run towards, if that makes any sense.